Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do Bleach Chapter 532 review. Now, this week's chapter, Bleach, it's very simple. Like, I mean, it's like very, very. You know what? Like, I'll be honest. Right? I was hoping that Masaki Kurosaki was gonna, like, defeat this Hollow in some way, in some, like, crazy badass way. And then I'm not saying that what she did wasn't badass. I'm just saying, like I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I mean, I have mixed feelings on whether or not it's cool or not. And I mean, I think it's cool, sort of, but like I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it was kind of like, yeah, stick on my hands. Like, what are you doing? No, bite. Like, yeah, gotcha. And I'm like, so I don't know. You know what? I'll put it like this: the setup to that was not badass, not at all. It was like it was like what, like, and it was like, okay, but the conclusion to that was badass. When it was like she was hugging the Hollow, or no, I should say Whitey. Hugging Whitey, and then she was like, got you, and then had the Quincy. It's like a miniature Quincy. Actually, it was very similar to like it was very similar to like a surgical utensil. The way it looked, like that Reiatsu miniature arrow, or the Reiatsu miniature bow. And then it was basically bam, and then there was like an explosion that went through Whitey, and that's what chapter ends. So that part, again, I have mixed feelings on. I believe that the setup with the whole entire hand, that to me, well, I mean, obviously she wasn't like, like she wasn't like posed up and shit. I'm just saying that the hand thing, in my personal opinion, I thought that was lame, but the end result was cool. So, I mean, take it as you would. Now, pre-hand to that, we have a few things going on here. First of all, the Hollow and Ishin are actually engaging in fierce combat. And even though Aizen cut him in the back and gave him a pretty deep wound, and even though he can't use his Bankai, because according to Aizen, if you were to use his Bankai, he would be crushed by his own Reiatsu. And that's crazy shit. Let me just alter this camera here. Okay. He'd be crushed by his own Reiatsu. Now, that's very, I can't handle my own shit. That reminds me of the first time Ichigo went Bankai. When Ichigo went Bankai, and then he was fighting against Byakuya. At the end of that fight, Byakuya was like, yeah, you can't handle your own Bankai. Alright, like, your bones are literally being crushed by your own spiritual pressure. So, and apparently Ishin is sort of the same way, where his Reiatsu admits, where his his Reiatsu, where his Bankai admits it unleashes so much Reiatsu, where if his body is not at peak condition, or at least somewhere even close to peak condition, then he can't use his Bankai. Otherwise, he would kill himself. And that's it's cool. Like, see, that's mad cool. And of course Aizen knew that shit, because he's Aizen. He's Aizen Soulscape, man. He has the Bleach. He has the entire series already memorized. All right. He knew he was gonna lose pre-hand. Why? Because he's fucking Aizen Soulscape. That's what he does. He just knows shit. He just happens to know everything. But then again, seeing Masaki come in there and shoot arrows at Whitey, which was a name given to this hollow creature by Tosin because of its pure nature. Despite its black, despite the hollow or the creature's black exterior, because of its pure nature, he calls it Whitey. And listen, man, you take it as you want to, all right? You take it as you want to. You can say, oh my god, Kubo, you're, racist. You could say that, alright? But whatever. Because I'm not gonna complain, because I'm not white. So I wouldn't know. Now. If it was Blackie, whoa. Slow down there, Kubo. Slow down. Slow the fuck down. So, but hey, yo, take that as you would. At first, I didn't see it like that. And then when I read the chapter, I was like, okay, alright. Because I remembered how in one of the previous chapters, when Yamaura was fighting against Roit, like there was a scene of Roit's like birth and shit, and his twin, Lloyd and Roit. And it was like, there was one scene where the nurses and the doctors, I mean, Black wouldn't even cut it. It was just like, whoa, like, holy shit. And people were like, is this racial? I don't fucking know. Like, it could be. It could be. It couldn't be. Who knows? But that's another story. The fact remains that the fight was intense between Ishin and Whitey. And what ended up happening was that at some point, and this is actually very hard to follow, Ishin, he gets the upper hand by, because after he's, backs away, he's like, like you're a fucking freak. And then he does the Engetsu. And then he expands it as if like there's like a horizontal parallel, like a horizontal pillar of fire. And then, or something, maybe we're not too sure exactly what it is. It could be fire, probably is fire. But then all of a sudden, it's like it diverges into like a parallel pillar, like right next to it. And I was like, okay, like what's going on? And then he's like, take this. Then Whitey rushes in there. There's an explosion, and then the end result of that explosion is Whitey's left arm getting dismembered. So I don't know how to follow it, to be honest. I was confused. I was like, what happened exactly? But then after that point in time, Whitey and of course Aizen, Gin, Toast, and watching this in their cloaks that they made copies of the same cloak that Urahara had. And the thing about this is that what ends up happening is that as they engage Akane once more. Oh, and by the way, Ishii knew that he was scratched or he was wounded by his Zamato. He knew that he was wounded by his Zamato, and then he knew that someone was covering for this entity, this creature. He knew that. He knew that there was a traitor amongst the Royal Crocodile. I mean the Crocodile Squad now. He knew that. Royal. Oh shit. But the thing about this was that as they engage Akane once more, they have like a cross-counter face-off, and then the Hollow's gonna fire a Sharo. And then here comes Masaki, arrow, dodges the arrow. Masaki, arrow, flurry, dodges all the arrows. And then, what are you doing? Gotcha, bam! So, that was a chapter. Again, that was a chapter. So, I have mixed feelings. I do. I have mixed feelings about this chapter. The Aizen thing, I mean, obviously I like it, because I like Aizen. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it, man. That I'll give a good. Okay? Now, my problem is that the fight between Whitey and Ishin, I found it hard to, well, not hard, no. It wasn't, from an overall standpoint, it wasn't hard to follow. But that one part where it was like Engetsu, pillars of fire, explosion, arm, what happened? So that that one particular scene I found hard to follow. I was like, okay, alright. So, but overall, I think that in my opinion, yeah, well, the fight wasn't monumentous. It wasn't, outstanding. It was actually, it wasn't like Ichigo Grimjaw level. No. It wasn't, man. It wasn't even like, Stark, Kyoraku level. No. It was basically like, and in my opinion, I think the fight sucks. But in my opinion, and if you're wondering, my favorite fight in that arc, Hisagi Shuhei versus Findor Karius. I don't care what fucking nobody says. I love that fight. That's a great fight. But ooh, I'm fanboy. This fight was. I'll put it this way: it's easy to forget this fight. Yeah. I mean, that may seem harsh. That may sound like, oh my god, keep learning. No, it's easy to forget this fight. That's the way I see it. Very easy. In my opinion, in one ear, out the other. That's the way this fight is. Because, I mean, even though it's the flashback that's, it is a key flashback, and like, you're going to remember, you're always going to remember how, like, this fight, like, you're always going to remember who fought at this particular point in time, Whitey and Ishin. But the fight itself, like, there's only two key points, and that's, seeing Engetsu burn, quote-unquote burn, the slash that Aizen did, and then pretty much at the end we have Misaki. Now, as you can see, she got bit. What does that mean? That means that we see the transfer of hollow powers inside her. Because if you remember, and this is actually a key thing too that I remember, when Aizen was attacked by Ichigo Kurosaki, when Ichigo uses a visor hollow mask, after Yamamoto did his fire pillow back in the Karakura-tan arc, back in the Arankura saga, and then he did a Getsuga Tensho, Aizen got a cut from here to here, and there was still Reiatsu left over in that wound. But Aizen, because he was hacks as fuck back then, he simply said fuck that shit and he removed the Reiatsu. But in this situation, we can see that the Reiatsu is probably seeping into Misaki, and then when Ichigo was born, it transferred over to him, and we see this transfer. Well, we don't see it, but that's the assumption that it can be made via the bite wound that she's suffered. And, that's it. That's the chapter. So my rating for this week's chapter of, I almost said Naruto. My rating for this week's chapter of Bleach. Aizen's a good. Ishin is I'm not too sure. I think I'll give him okay. Benefit of the doubt, I'll give him okay. And Misaki, I have mixed feelings on because I'm not too sure. The setup was lame, but the end result was fucking cool. So, okay plus. Yeah. Okay plus chapter. Yeah. I could give it a good and bump it up because of Tosin being somewhat elaborate and being somewhat witty when it came to naming Whitey. So I can give it a good. I can bump it up a little bit. Why not? Yeah, why not? Again, you take it as you want to. You could play the race card, but again, I don't really care that much. So I'll give it a good chapter. Yeah, I'll bump it up, and I'll give it good. So I'm done. King Lightning, be sure to, of course, rate, comment, and subscribe as always, and I'm signing out. Peace! Have a nice day. Salute! Yeah! Yeah!